What's up out there, YouTube? This is James.
And Joan.
And we're coming back at you with another informative video on the other side of midnight, heading into Friday. And I'm so glad for that. I'll tell you that.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been a long, cold week. You understand?
Yes, it has.
Yeah. You know, earlier when you told me about this particular story right here, I was like, I wasn't, really surprised simply because that's what these insurance companies like to do. They like to run out, when it's time for them to pay up. You see what I'm saying? But what really caught my attention was they did it last summer. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, to me, State Farms is like looking into their crystal ball, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, they want to collect, but they don't want to pay.
But
I remember one time when our insurance went up, and they were saying that it was because the hurricanes and stuff down in Louisiana and places. And I was like, well, what that's got to do with my insurance here in Indiana? I don't live down there.
Right. Like I said, they did this last summer. That's why I said they must have been looking into their crystal ball and seeing this coming. And I'm like, well, how would they know that? It says here last summer, State Farm, one of the California's largest insurance providers, revoked hundreds of homeowners policies in California, specifically the Pacific Palisades. The Pacific Palisades, which is currently being engulfed by a historic wildfire, has already lost more than 15,832 acres and over 1,000 structures to it. You know what I mean?
Yes, and how would they know half a year in advance that this is going to happen?
It just makes it, seem like they knew this was coming. That's basically what it all boils down to. That was a red flag in itself for them to just up and just revoke all of these homeowner insurance policies. You see what I'm saying? But hey, that's what it is. But they got a bunk excuse, and what I want us to do is sit back and check it out. It's about 4 minutes, 35 seconds, then we'll get back into the commentary. Check this out.
And I want to say, it seems like these fires are starting sooner and sooner, because I thought it used to be more like in the spring and summertime.
Yeah, they coming sooner and sooner. A little bit of everything is coming. You know what I mean? Especially with this weather. But we'll get into that. So let's check out this video.
Devastating wildfires in Los Angeles exposing a major issue for California homeowners as at least one major insurer leaves to avoid losses.
Cheryl Casoni from our sister network Fox Business is here with the details. Cheryl, for some families, from one nightmare to another.
It is, and this is when the idea of your home insurance, your rental insurance really becomes reality. Most of us never lose our property and have to go through this. Unfortunately, the people in California this morning are waking up to this after losing their homes. Again, reportedly, we're now at 2,000 structures that have been destroyed. Now, there was a report in Newsweek this morning about State Farm. They're the largest insurance company in California. They have reportedly canceled hundreds of homeowners policies just this past summer in Pacific Palisades specifically, according to Newsweek. And they justified it because they're trying to avoid, quote, financial failure. They cite the frequency and severity of wildfires in the Golden State. There is also a very lengthy opinion piece in Bloomberg today on the website talking about the California, these fires
amazing. Jerry, you gotta see this.
Potential nationwide $1 trillion hole in U.S. home insurance. What we're seeing in places like California, Florida, more so in Florida because of the hurricanes than even in California, people aren't renewing their policies, or they don't have the proper insurance. They can't get fire insurance, or they choose not to because of this leads to rates going up. This leads to the states being on the hook, maybe the federal government being on the hook. Again, it's $1 trillion exposure. The Senate Budget Committee, guys, just last month published a report called Next to Fall. The climate-driven insurance crisis is here and getting worse. And in the report, they talk about these states in this country that are at most at risk: Florida, Louisiana, California, Texas. These are the states that are experiencing the highest number of non-renewal rates. What that means is when you have less people insuring their homes, the rates for those that are paying for home insurance go up. So they're saying that's $1 trillion problem. Also, I want to go back to Pacific Palisades just for a second. This is the zip code is 90272. There were 1,930 policy non-renewals in that zip code in Pacific Palisades between 2019 and 2024. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, that's 28 out of 100 policies that were not renewed. You have potential right now of $6 billion of losses just in Pacific Palisades right now. And this is where the California Insurance Commissioner, he spoke to the local Los Angeles affiliate, and he came out and he said, he's telling people, don't sign anything. If you've lost your home and an adjuster shows up at your house today, don't sign anything. There's a 3-day cooling off period. Be careful, because the insurance companies, I'm telling you, these adjusters will give you 70% of what your house is worth, when legally you're supposed to get 100% of what your house
They
is
just try to take advantage of the fact that you're desperate
Yes.
and you want the money in your hands now.
Yes.
To follow up on something you said, so what you're saying is these insurers will reallocate risk amongst all of us, not just the homeowners and the insurance payers in California, so that everyone's insurance rates are going to go up in order to reallocate the risk from events like this.
on a state-by-state basis. Yes, and the bigger problem is Florida because of the hurricanes. We've already seen a lot of problems in Florida. There are people there are people that are trying to buy homes and want to buy homes in Florida. They can't get insurance. And then what you have in Florida, which I'm afraid and I worry about California, is what you start to see is these not so highbrow insurance companies, these kind of risky insurers start to sell people policies and then they go bankrupt. We've seen that in Florida. And so this is devastating. As you guys, as I do, we have friends that have lost everything in these fires. One of my good friends has lost everything, but they're going to rebuild. It's how you do it, and be careful.
Yeah, and this is one devastation on top of another. And when it comes to the insurance, something that people will be grappling with for days, weeks, months, and years to come. Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us. Stop Miss Cheryl on Mornings with Maria.
Wow, an apocalyptic fire for the Pacific Palisades and a money grab for the insurance companies.
Absolutely. And when they talk about these people rebuilding, they act like it's something that's going to magically happen in the next few days. It's going to take a while if they do rebuild.
And he talk a lot of that stuff, but look at the people, still dealing with Hurricane Helene. In that particular area up in the Appalachians, was it Tennessee or what have you? Was it Tennessee? Wherever that was.
I think it was in South.
It was North Carolina, I think. Yeah, that's where it was. And from what I hear about those people, they are still out in the cold, if you understand what I'm saying.
And I'm sure some people haven't rebuilt from Katrina, and that was probably, a decade ago?
Yeah.
Or longer.
Yeah, it was a little longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
But normally when disasters is like this happen, things never really go back to being the same. You know what I'm saying? I mean, years and years later, you're still going to see the remnants of the destructive, power, whatever happened, far as the weather go or by fire or whatever. You know what I mean? You're going to always see that. You know what I'm saying? It never really goes back to actually being the same. And then by the time it gets even close, you got another disaster coming.
I know, and they are rapidly happening. I don't know, it's overwhelming. I mean, it's year after year, almost month after month now.
Well, the reason I think is because of that, because spiritual Babylon is under judgment now.
That's for sure.
That's basically what it all boils down to. I mean, you got all of this stuff going down, and hey, the Most High, what you always got to remember is he's not going to be mocked. And number two, he is in control.
And if we ain't got so-called disasters going on, if you know what I mean, read between the lines, we got these idiots out here killing each other and bringing all other kind of problems into the situation.
Yeah, that's the other side of a messed up situation. You know what I'm saying? But with this weather, You know what I mean? And with the cold, in one part of the country, and then on the other side of the country, you got this inferno going on. Wiped out an entire, and I repeat, an entire section of a neighborhood. More than that. That's even like you do 15,000 acres. And I'm reading where it's other. It's even more than that here and there.
Yeah, it's really devastating.
Yeah, it's devastating, all right. And you know what? Really, the part that really scares you is that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I know, really.
This is the tip of the iceberg. It's going to get even worse than this before it's all over with.
Yes, it is.
And this is the reason why, I always tell people, repent. Because it's not going to get any better than this. You know what I mean? This is going to be something, as you can see, it's one thing after another.
Yeah.
If it's not with the weather itself, you got these so-called drones,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, flying in the air, you know what I mean, making their presence on, which, by the way, we haven't heard about them in a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Since the fog, making people sick.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, the fog just, last week, fog everywhere, killing people, chickens and stuff on the farm and making people sick, coughing, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the Bible is really fulfilling itself. It's like the words are just jumping off the pages.
Jumping off the page, writing this on the wall now. That's just how clear it is. But for some people, they still think it's playtime at the zoo.
Oh, yeah.
For some people, they really think, oh man, this ain't nothing. It's just the way it is. This stuff happens.
Yep, we're fear-mongering and conspiracy theories. And
Yeah.
all kind of stuff.
But
That's the same thing they told Noel, ain't it?
yeah. And it was the same people that was begging to get into the boat when that water came.
Yes, and
But
he
they
had
didn't.
been warning them.
Yeah, they didn't make it.
I think he warned them for like 100 years, and y'all know we've been at it for a while. But as long as I can remember as a little girl, I've heard about the world
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that's just what it is, but the Most High will continue to get people's attention one way or the other. Now, whether they pay attention to it or not, well, that's on them. That remains to be seen. But these things are going to continue to happen until, the end.
He'll get the ones that's supposed to have his mark in their forehead, his seal in our foreheads. He'll get us.
Yep. That's it. Well, folks, that's all we got on this particular one right here. Tell us what you think in the comment section about old State Farm and the money grab.
Oh, no.
We know what that is. You know what? I'm going to say this before we go. A lot of these insurance companies ain't nothing but racketeers. Think about it.
Yeah, because look all the years they collect and most of us never ever think the father have a crisis or even a car accident.
Right.
And they just collect the money.
Just keep the money. And then if you do happen to use it, file any claims, well, your insurance rates are going to go up. Just like they said with these other people that didn't even have nothing to do with this fire.
Don't even live in the state.
Yeah, their insurance rate's going to go up. So see, they going to continue to win until they lose, if you get my point. But yeah, tell us what you think about this particular video. We're interested in hearing your thoughts on it in the comment section, if you can comment. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched.
Simply because we are.
This is James.
And Joan.
And we are out. Peace.